All right, a couple days ago, I came in here and was working on the garage. The power was not connected to the garage. I had to solve that mystery. And then when I got in here, I realized that the old opener had no control, had no button to open it by the door, had no clicker, nothing. So I just decided to go new. And I got a chain drive. The only reason I got that was because cost, really. They're just a little bit more inexpensive, but this is a nice model right here. So I'm going to be running all new. And what I had done before, as you can see, is I put in the new rail that it runs on, the new chain. That took a while to kind of get that finagled on there. I made sure that the adjustment was right for the door to open. It was actually hitting at the top a little bit. I'm going to be connecting the links today and trying to get everything else put together. So as you can see, these just fit in a little channel just like this, and they just connect together. It's real easy. At the end, you want to make sure that this is your ending part. This is actually a spare. One of the mistakes you don't want to make is there's a larger hole and a smaller hole. You want the larger hole sticking up because there's actually a nut that rides on and a bolt, and the bolt has to go through here to fully seat. And then the roller that the chain rides on goes in this channel. So this is the last one. The rest of them are pretty much the same. There's a bracket over there that it sits on. Just 2 bolts. And I just hooked it up the way that the last guy did. You can see the 2 bolts here for the bracket that hold the chain on. There's a little roller here that has teeth. Goes in there just like a bike chain. And now I'm gonna put this link together. You can see over here, there's a link. But this can be confusing if you've never done one before. It looks just like a bicycle link that it rolls on, but you have to clip this so that when it moves, it doesn't go up, pop off. So you get these little packets that come with the garage door opener. And it has spare linkage. You can see I've already attached one right here on the adjustment. And all it really is this little part and then a clip. Fits on there like that. And then the clip connects in that. I'm just going to use my knife and snap, it's on there. So next part, I'm going to be attaching the rest of this, the electrical wire that controls it. I'm going to actually put a button by the door so you can open it, and then I will program the clicker. Right. This is the release for the door if you need to open it not using the garage door opener. This is actually a release, so the door can come up here and attach to this. I'm going to attach it to the old while I'm working on it. There's just a little pin that fits in there. Pin goes through here, and that will keep it in place, that little ring. Now the door can open. And when it clicks into place there, the garage door opener now takes over, but you always have the option of pulling this cord, releasing it, and shutting the door manually. The next step is installing the controller, the little clicker that'll go by the door. And it's just 2 wires, and it's marked on here red wire, white wire. And that is just installed fairly easily. Separate these 2 wires. They don't need a ton of room, but you need enough to be able to separate them. And then the instructions call for 6mm for stripping the wire. Take off about 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to back this out a little bit. Put a little bend. You want to make sure that the wires are going to exit through this little channel that's provided. Tuck that in there a little bit. Back through the channel. And then there are 2 screws that are provided. We're just going to go over to the door. I'm going to mount it right about here next to the light switch so that when you open the door, the clicker for this will be right there. I don't see that I'm going to put any trim back on here, so I'm just going to install it in here, making sure that stays in the channel. And then I'm going to run it up and over and across over to our garage door opener. Okay, new wire is run. They provide these little copper staples for you to attach the wire. Then we're just going to come up here to the back of the unit. Same deal, we're going to separate our wires a little bit. Take about 1/4 of an inch off of the sheathing. And then on the back, find your red wire. I'm just going to push it on that tab. And then your white wire. Push it on the tab. And that's it. Those are installed. Next, we're installing the electric eye that's going to keep the door from coming down on anybody and shutting the door safely. It's just going to attach onto the side rails, and these cannot be more than 6 inches up off of the ground. if you see over here, if you measure, you want it to be no more than 6 inches off of the ground. And then they are just going to install with a little carriage bolt. Slides in here. It'll go in this. And then there's a wing nut that goes on the back. Then these wires are going to follow their way back up to the unit to control that as well. So once I get that installed, we'll take a look at how that looks. Okay, now we can finally put the power on. Hear it clicking that it's turning on. And we're going to teach the door how to safely open and close. Hit the adjustment button and hold it down till we see that top arrow blink. There we go. We'll raise the door to a safe level where you can get a car in and out, safely walk in and out. That's pretty good. When we see the down arrow flashing, we can now teach the door what the limits are for closing. And there we are. Now we can go over to the switch by the door. It'll be what you are going to use mostly coming in and out. Just kind of do a double check that it did learn properly how to open and close. Open. And close. Looks like the electric eyes are adjusted perfectly. I'm going to give a little disclaimer here not to judge the condition of the garage. A lot of this stuff was here. Again, this house was abandoned for about 3 years. A couple different people tried to make it work and fix it, and they never got anywhere with it. So just keep that in mind, that the cracks in the concrete and the level of the driveway meeting the garage, that's all going to be fixed later. This is mostly just about installing a garage door opener if it's something you wanted to do. Now, the last thing you want to do is have the clicker that you keep in your truck or your car. Teach it how to sync up with the opener. We're going to hold the learn button down and then hold down the button, and they should start flashing, and now they are synced. Now you can keep this with you and open your garage door, shut your garage door. As you can see, it works from the outside as well. It's not completely necessary to install a garage door opener in a new house, but it's just one of those things that, you know, people are going to want. They don't want to have to do anything when they buy a house. And this is one of those things you can kind of throw in what someday will probably be their replacement drawer, their junk drawer, and they just have a way to open up their garage door now and come home and not have anything to think about when they get their new home.